Welcome to Play It or Not. My name is Chris McLaughlin, and today we'll be reviewing Final Fantasy for the iPhone. Final Fantasy is an RPG-style game originally released for the Nintendo back in 1987 in Japan. The game was one of the most influential early role-playing games and gave validity to the genre itself. The plot of the game is pretty basic. You got 4 people who hold some jewels, and that makes them some sort of legend, so now they have to save the world, and you kind of get the point of the story. The game has a menu-based combat system, which means you take turns deciding how you're going to attack your opponent. Now, before you begin destroying monsters, goblins, and ninja unicorns, you have to select your characters. Each character has an occupation or class, and there are 6 in total, and they specialize in things like combat, white magic, black magic, and defense. You get to choose 4 of them, and my 4 characters are Paco, Pablo, Pancho, and Pedro. Once the game starts, you'll be wandering around on a big map, until you encounter some baddies. Aside from bosses, this usually happens at random. In a fight, you take turns attacking your enemy. You can fight with weapons or use magic. When you win the fight, you receive experience points, or XP. Once you gain enough, you level up your character, which means you're stronger and more resistant, and things like magic and spells will be more effective. The controls for the iPhone work amazingly well for an RPG game, which is why it's a surprise I didn't do this earlier. Aside from the outer world where you use a D-pad, everything else is touch-based, and it works really well for this type of game. Now, not every enemy is as easy as a goblin. There's a great variety of enemies that can dispose of you in a matter of seconds if you're not careful, like the crazy ninja unicorns. Thankfully, the game has shops where you can upgrade your weapons and even buy new ones, so you'd go from this... What the fuck is this? Is this a stick? You want me to fight a horde of raging psychotic unicorns with this? To this. You shall not something! You can also upgrade your armor from this to this. What? You really expected me to have armor in my house? There's also potions you can buy that will heal you during battle or defend you against attacks. There's even a store where you can resurrect your dead friends. One thing that really bugs me about this game is the amount of time you spend searching for fights to increase your XP. In case you're wondering, it's a lot. It's also very repetitive, and sometimes the plot doesn't really advance quick enough for my liking. Speaking of the plot, it's been said that this game has the weakest of all the Final Fantasy series. This game is going to receive an 8.5 out of 10. It's fun to play, looks great, controls wonderfully, and brings back a lot of nostalgia. What more could you want? If you like my reviews, remember to subscribe, and most importantly, keep in mind that my Final Fantasy is to be rich, so someone send me some money. This is Chris McLaughlin, and I say play it. How am I going to get out of this one?